Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video we'll be covering the best Game Week 33 free hit draft. We'll also be looking at some players you should be targeting if you're not on a free hit, and also some teams that you should be targeting, not just for Game Week 33 but in the long term. If you do enjoy today's video, please do smash the like button, do subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 50 subs by the end of April, and the only way we can do that is with your support. So please do smash the like button, subscribe, and finally comment down below who you are going to be bringing in for Game Week 33, and if you're on a free hit, what's your free hit looking like? Please tell me down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, starting off with the defence, we've gone for a three at the back formation, but starting off in goal, we have gone for Martin Dubravka. Obviously scored 7 points against Wolves in his last match, keeping a clean sheet. Like I said in previous videos, Newcastle have looked stronger at the back. The only exception for that being obviously the Spurs game, but I think we can kind of discount that as maybe a one-off. We saw Villa absolutely get demolished by Spurs. Spurs are just on a steam drain at the moment. Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Kulusevski, they're looking absolutely perfection at the moment. And unfortunately, Newcastle came across that wrath at the wrong time. But I believe this double and Newcastle players in general should be targeting, especially from the defensive side. Leicester at home and Crystal Palace at home. Obviously, Crystal Palace is quite a free-flowing team, so I don't see Newcastle potentially keeping a clean sheet in that one. But the Leicester game, they'll be coming off the back of their Europa Conference League game. That could even go to extra time, as it's currently 0-0 on aggregate, so they could have played 120 minutes. This is definitely a game where Newcastle could take advantage. Dubravka himself has been a pretty solid pick for me since I brought him in. He's the third highest scoring goalkeeper under 4.5 million over the past 5 game weeks as well. So if you are looking around that 4.5 million price point, then he's definitely one of the top options that you could be going for. Moving on to the back line, we've got Connor Roberts. Now, originally last night I had Matt Doherty, but obviously he got injured in the Aston Villa game, so I kind of had to rush and change to Connor Roberts. I've not had time today to put together some time in Photoshop, so unfortunately Connor Roberts is in here. He didn't play today as well, so that left centre back spot in the team has kind of been a little bit of a pain in the arse for me, so kind of, you know, avoid this. Connor Roberts, I could see him potentially playing one of the 2 games, West Ham and Southampton. Similar to Leicester, West Ham have the Europa League, so obviously midweek game for them. Again, they're currently, I think they're behind or maybe level, I can't remember off the top of my head. Someone will tell me in the comments below. But yeah, they'll be coming off that game. Obviously, potentially could have played 120 minutes. There'll be rotation. Burnley now have to win after today's defeat against Norwich, so they'll be looking for any points. Southampton off the back of a 6-0 drubbing as well. Definitely some games where Burnley could pick up some clean sheet points, and that's why I've gone for Connor Roberts. However, if Matt Doherty's fit, go for Matt Doherty. He's looked absolutely sensational over the past few weeks, as have Spurs. Obviously, with that, they only do play one team, and that is Brighton. But I'll come on to talk about Brighton with the next player in defence, and that is João Cancelo. Now, he's come off the back of a scintillating performance against Liverpool. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. Obviously a fantastic ball for Gabriel Jesus' assist. Only downside with him is he does have only 1 game and is probably going to play at the weekend in the FA Cup against Liverpool, so maybe that's something to consider when picking a defender. But I've gone for João Cancelo because I believe Brighton are poor. They are a very, very poor side. Brighton have only had 2 wins this year, and obviously that was the surprise win against Arsenal and Everton. I think it was back on January 2nd when they last won their last game. So, you know, Brighton aren't in good form. Manchester City still in this title fight after today's result. You know, they'll be looking to keep this strongest side, and João Cancelo could have an absolute field day against Brighton. The next player that I'm going to recommend is James Justin. Now, James Justin did play this weekend against Crystal Palace. He'll probably play in the Europa Conference League. He was a great player that everyone had in the team last year. It was a shame that he sustained that long-term injury, and a key reason why I believe Leicester have struggled this year. But he is back in fitness. He's back in Brendan Rodgers' starting lineup, and it's a great double to target. Newcastle away, we've already spoke about Newcastle, their improved defensive ability, but then it's Everton away. They're in this relegation dogfight. Obviously picked up a surprise win against Manchester United at the weekend, but there's still a poor side that definitely could be taken advantage of. So James Justin for me is the other defender that I've gone for. I feel that potentially has the most nailability. That's the word we're coming up with for today's video. But yeah, he's nailed for me. The other players I were looking at was Wesley Fofana. You could even go Castagna if the budget is available. Unfortunately, with my limited budget, it wasn't, so I went for James Justin. But yeah, Castagna is definitely an option that you could look at. Or you could even maybe go for someone like Wesley Fofana. Just be wary that Leicester have Europa Conference League game in the week, so just watch this squad, and then I'd kind of decide from who plays in that squad where you kind of pick your options from. But with that in mind, let's move on to the midfield. Our first midfielder is Bukayo Saka. Arsenal, back-to-back defeats. You're probably thinking, why are you including an Arsenal player? It's a mixed double as well for Arsenal. Southampton away, off the back of a 6-0. Definitely there for Arsenal, to regain their confidence, regain their composure. And then Chelsea away, difficult one, but Chelsea do have the FA Cup game against Crystal Palace at the weekend. They've also got a massive game this midweek with Real Madrid. So, they'll be coming off the back of 2 games, which are absolutely massive, kind of their season, what they could expect to win from this season. So 2 big games for Chelsea. They could come into this with a little bit of rotation as well. Arsenal, they need to get back to winning ways, and I believe Saka is the man for that. He's Arsenal's most nailed on player. You've just got to think he's also scored the most points for Arsenal over the past 5 game weeks amongst Arsenal players. Budget is an issue, you could go Martinelli. Something to consider though is the way that Arsenal played. It did look a little bit jaded at times. You could definitely tell that they missed Kieran Tierney at left back. And one of the big absences for me was Thomas Partey in midfield. You could just see the space that Brighton were allowed to get in front of that defensive line. I feel Thomas Partey would have kind of cleaned all that area up. I think there's a lot of expectation as well that is on the Arsenal front line. They're very young players. There's only Lacazette that's kind of a seasoned professional. The rest of them are young guys, and to put them under this amount of pressure, it's a lot for them at this stage of the season. But can Saka rise to that challenge? Hopefully so. He's in my team. He's in this game week 33 draft, and he starts our midfield. The next midfielder in our team we've gone for is James Maddison. Now, obviously, we spoke about the good double that Leicester have, Newcastle and Everton away. If you're not on a free hit as well, I think Leicester players are definitely a must for this game week. In game week 36, they double as well with another great double, Everton at home and Norwich at home. So good long-term fixtures as well for Maddison. He's been in good form as well, getting 1 goal, 2 assists in his past 3 games. The only thing to note with him is Leicester are going to be focusing on the Europa Conference League. It's a massive, massive game against PSV for them this Thursday. He's probably going to play the full match. He's just played 79 minutes as well today. Maybe a little bit of a rotation risk for the Newcastle game. Something you've got to look at. See what the Leicester result is. But for me, he is a must-buy for this week. Him or Harvey Barnes. Obviously, we saw Harvey Barnes rotated today. Maybe the fact that he's going to play Thursday and maybe James Maddison isn't. But James Maddison in good form. The Leicester fixtures are lining up. Is a great double to target. He is the next player in our 33 free hit draft. My third player in midfield is a little bit of a controversial one. Now, I built this team on Friday, so before any of the games were played. And I put Bruno Fernandes in there. He was someone I was actually contemplating to bring into my team as well for Salah for this game week. I'm glad I didn't, as he didn't look the best against Everton. It was a shock result for United. Very, very poor performance from them. But look at the game week 33 fixtures. It's Norwich at home and Liverpool away. The Norwich game is obviously the one that we're going to be targeting. It's a fantastic fixture. The bottom of the league. Surely United have to respond with a positive result. Then they go away to Liverpool. Obviously, it didn't go well for them earlier in the season. Obviously, 5-0 defeat. They won't be looking for that again. And I definitely think, United fans will be expecting a response in the next 2 games. And the Liverpool game could be massive, absolutely massive for both teams. It could determine whether or not United get Europa League or Europa Conference League. It could even determine, if Wolves kind of finish the season strong, whether or not, United get European football at all. And then for Liverpool, obviously, it's a must-win game for them. It's a big derby. Everyone knows about it. There's going to be a lot on the line. Liverpool coming off the back of playing Manchester City in the FA Cup as well. So you've got to factor in all these things. And I definitely think United players are ones you could be targeting. You could also go for Tellers at the back. But the first United player in this team that I've gone for is Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, there are a lot of other tempting options. You've got Son, you've got De Bruyne, but these players only have one game, so that is why I've gone for Bruno Fernandes. As well, Bruno has the second most shots among United players and has 80 plus key passes this season. That's the top amongst Premier League players. So as you can see, he's the heart of creativity for United, getting plenty of shots off as well. So if the United are going to score or create an opportunity, it's probably going to come through this man. The next player I've included in my team is James Ward-Prowse. Now, Southampton is a very mixed double. Obviously, we spoke about Arsenal, back-to-back defeats for them. Are they there to maybe be taken advantage of? Southampton themselves coming off a 6-0 drubbing. Confidence is going to be a little bit low. Obviously, after being in excellent form earlier in the season, it's kind of faded away a little bit, and the season's maybe become a little bit tainted. But Arsenal and Burnley, it's a fixture that we wanted to target, and James Ward-Prowse is probably the only player that I would be looking to include from Southampton. Obviously, we know what his strengths are. Massive advantage in the free kick department. He is one of the best to ever grace the Premier League, up there with Dimi Payet. Absolutely sensational at free kicks. If they get a dead ball situation, then, hats off to you, because you're going to be getting points. He's on penalties as well. So for a player that doubles with a mix kind of double, and he's pretty much nailed for Southampton as well. He is their captain. Anytime they're going to get a free kick or a penalty, he's going to be taking it. So it's easy points if they do get into that situation. Especially in the Burnley game, I think as well, they could definitely get something out of that. Burnley, it's a must-win game for them. So James Ward-Prowse, 6.5 million. I don't think you can go really too wrong if you're looking for a player who doubles and is fairly nicely priced. To finish off the midfield, we have gone for Cornet. Now, Cornet had probably one of the worst misses of the season against Norwich. Absolute sitter. But before that, goal and assist against Everton. Maybe he's on set pieces as well. I didn't actually watch the Norwich game, so tell me in the comments below if he did. But he was ever present on corners for the Everton game. Obviously starting to look back to his best. And obviously, Burnley have got to start winning games now. Today's defeat against Norwich has put them in a right sticky position. The West Ham game, obviously we spoke about West Ham in the Europa League. Got to be targeting that. Absolutely got to be targeting that. Southampton, low on confidence. Maybe they're on the beach kind of mentality where they're at the moment. You've got to be targeting these. These are absolutely must-win games for Burnley. I can't really see another attacking option that you'd go for. Weghorst has been absolutely dreadful and cemented himself in FPL troll history, especially with his 1-pointer this weekend. So for me, an attacking player that you could look at for Burnley and who is in my Game Week 33 free hit draft is Maxwell Cornet. Moving on to the forwards and bench, obviously we'll start with the main man himself, Kaz, Harry Kane. Big man, he is playing absolutely sensational at the moment. Second highest scoring player over the past 5 game weeks, only behind his teammate and buddy Son. Son has 6 more points than him, but over the past 5 game weeks, Harry Kane has 4 goals and 7 assists. Top 4 attempted assists amongst all players, and he has 3 goals in his last 2 games against Brighton. Does like scoring against Brighton, as we can see. Obviously, we spoke about Brighton only winning 2 games this year. Harry Kane in good form. Spurs looking very good going forward. It could be, a potential captaincy option if you're not keen on the United players within this team. Maybe that's somewhere I'd be leaning towards. Maybe Harry Kane for me, for my personal team as well. I think it's going to be Harry Kane, looking at the players that I have available at my disposal. But Harry Kane, really no-brainer there, to be honest. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go Heung-min Son, over Harry Kane at the moment, just down to the fact he's just in that, different stratosphere. When a player just hits the confidence levels, and his finishing ability is absolutely sensational. So for me, I'd go Heung-min Son, but for this team, I've gone for Harry Kane, just purely down to the fact that we needed a forward in there who kind of, filled the role and has excellent stats against Brighton. So for me, that's why I've put Harry Kane in here. The next player I've put in here is very controversial after this weekend's actions. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. 3 goals, 1 assist in his last 2 games. Obviously didn't play very well against Everton and maybe could be dropped. Who knows? Especially with what's going off the pitch as well. Obviously, slapped a kid's phone out his hand and yeah, all that kind of stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about on the pitch kind of actions. And Ronaldo, I don't know. It's a tough one, this, to be honest. You could play Ronaldo, or you could go for someone like Ivan Toney, who has been absolutely bagging points and kind of gone under the radar over the past 5 game weeks. So you could go for someone like Ivan Toney on this 33 free hit draft, but we have gone for Ronaldo, so let's talk about it. Obviously, we spoke about the good fixtures. He's a big game player as well. He won't want to see Liverpool win the title. Scored as well the last time that he played Norwich, so that bodes well, and obviously loves to play at Old Trafford. But yeah, I do feel that there is potential maybe that he could face some disciplinary action from the club due to the incidences at the weekend. So maybe just that's one to consider, and maybe one why I wouldn't put him in my team. But he is in my team as I haven't had time to kind of update this, Photoshop that I've done. But yeah, there's plenty of other options. If you want to drop him down to Toney, you could go Son in midfield, you could go De Bruyne, but these players only have 1 game, so just do take that in mind. That is something that we are considering with this free hit draft. Now let's move on to the bench, and we start with Kasper Schmeichel, the highest scoring goalkeeper over the past 5 game weeks with 27 points in that period. Obviously, something that skewed that statistic is his penalty save against Wilfried Zaha today. So that's something that we've got to take into consideration, but like we've said with James Justin and Maddison earlier, fantastic double. Good long-term fixtures as well if you are looking to bring in a player who doubles in 36 with really nice fixtures again. Could even be a player that if you're on maybe thinking about a bench boost this game week, maybe you've got Ramsdale in goal and you're looking for a goalkeeper who has a really good double, then Schmeichel could be a man. I was a little bit unsure who to go for, Dubravka or Schmeichel. You could go either way. It's, I'm not really too fussed. I think they kind of both offer the same kind of output. My only consideration with Dubravka over Schmeichel was purely down to the fact of the Europa Conference League fixtures, maybe a little bit of fatigue, maybe a little bit of lack of motivation if Leicester go out as well. So that's just something to consider. Next to him, we have gone for Fabian Schär. Now, we all know why I've put Fabian Schär in here. Obviously, Newcastle's defensive ability has massively increased since the end of the January transfer window, and he has looked absolutely amazing in this Newcastle team. Obviously, we saw what he could do from free kicks. He's charging further up the field as well. If you look at his heat maps over the past 5 to 10 game weeks, you can see there's splodges of little bits of heat further up the field. Absolutely great player, and someone I was considering putting in this team, and you could easily swap Justin and Schär and Schmeichel and Dubravka around, and you'd still be pretty happy. But maybe if you're on, like I said, a bench boost and you're looking for a Connor Cody replacement, as I am at the moment, or a Wolves defender replacement, then Fabian Schär could be the man that you go for. Next to him is Timo Livramento. I just wanted a player who doubled and was fairly cheap. Amati is also available, but I used all my free Leicester players. So Daniel Amati at 4 million is probably, if you're looking for a bench player, the best one that you could go for. But I've gone for Livramento. Yeah, not too much to say on this one. Everyone kind of loves the young man, and, I hope he does well. But after the 6-0 drubbing, I'm not as confident about having him in my team. So maybe just one to consider on the bench. Obviously, I would go Daniel Amati, but we've used all our defender slots. Finally, the last player, Youngkoom, he's not even got a face on the game. I've just put him in here just so I could afford to put this whole team together. So there's not too much to say on that one. If you did enjoy today's video, then please do subscribe. Please do like the video. It massively helps out the channel and means the absolute world to me. Comment down below what your plans are for game week 33. Let me know if you liked the free hit, if you didn't like the free hit. I do like, a discussion in the comments. It's really good. I like to see it. Thank you for listening to my raspy ass voice as well. It's been 2 weeks now and the voice hasn't quite recovered. So if you have stuck with me to the end, thank you very much, and good luck for this game week. You're going to need it. It's going to be a roller coaster, but we're near the end. Keep smashing it. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.